I was VIP on stage every week for 60 weeks. Here's how I did it. I really liked this particular club that I kept going back to almost every month. I left a review on the Facebook page of the club night of this particular venue. The guy who ran the entire event saw my profile, saw my review, and responded. We then connected on Facebook and started communicating. That was the first interaction. The second interaction, after messaging, we met within the club during that club night, and he offered me a role in promoting for the club. I never followed up with this, and I was never a promoter. In the third interaction, I befriended a guy who I noticed would be backstage some of the time. He then pushed me back into a conversation with this main guy. And then I started thinking how I could provide value and get backstage. So here's what I was thinking. If they are already running a successful club night at an already popular and large club venue, what would be useful to them and what value can I provide? There were a few possible answers that I could think of. Photography, videography, social media growth, or promoting. My answer was footage, so I spoke to some of the members of Game London and asked if there were any experienced camera guys. The reason I chose this is because I already had experience in conducting and witnessing and doing videos with real social dynamics back in the day. Therefore, it was quite a simple choice for me. I picked out a camera guy from Game London and took him with me to the next club event. I then got taken backstage for the first time and met the other DJs. In the second week, I entered with another camera guy and just filmed random stuff. This wasn't even much work. It was really just 20 minutes roaming around filming people and the music going on and the DJs. The rest of the night, we just partied like usual and just hung out with the people backstage. After the second week, they just kept letting me in. I didn't bring a camera guy with me. I didn't even have my own camera, and I still don't. This is being filmed on my phone. So naturally, I befriended the DJ, the other DJ, the main guy, the promoter, the security, the girls on stage, and the lighting designer. Also the photographer as well. Over time, I became closer to the people in the club. The security were really friendly to me. There was one particular guy who was super funny and would always greet me the moment I came up to the front. Because now I was a regular VIP at this club, I didn't have to pay for anything. I didn't have to line up. So instead of lining up with hundreds of people in the line outside in the cold, I would just go straight to the front, be greeted by security. I wouldn't even be searched. They wouldn't even ID me, so they knew who I was, and they would give me a wristband. Eventually, I started collecting these wristbands, and here's a photo of all of them put together. And I would just go straight through and show my wristband to any new security guys or anyone who didn't know me so well in the club who would enforce these security areas. So over time, I built real friendships. I consider those people who I met real friends of mine. They invited me to birthday parties. They invited me to festivals. And I even invited them to some of my own life events. It has been 2 years since I've seen any of them. They are still my friends. We interact still on Instagram. One of the DJs, in fact, just had a conversation with me just a matter of days ago, despite being 2 years that I had seen any of them. We watch each other's stories, we like each other's content. These are therefore real connections. They didn't use me, I didn't use them. We genuinely connected and provided value for each other. Although after the second week, technically I was useless, but there we go. All I had to do was offer value in the very beginning, and then I got accepted as part of the family, which I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting to be a VIP every single week that I would show up. I also wasn't expecting to have these connections for such a long time. I met some pretty well-known DJs and other performers. Plus, I even met T-Pain's crew when they were finishing their show before the nightclub started. Having this kind of access enabled me to go on stage every week whenever I wanted and just have a level of social proof. I would use this opportunity down the line to bring dates to the club, to make content to put on Facebook and Instagram, and just build my way up on social media. As a result, I have had that experience, I have seen that access, I have befriended these people, made a lot of connections, acquired some pretty good footage, although at the very beginning I was kind of shy and learning the boundaries. And I would just like to give a shout out to all the people who made this happen. DJ Matt Terrace, DJ Antics, Akira the Don, Button Down Disco, and many more. So in order for you to replicate this kind of access, you need to think about what kind of value you can provide to someone who is already in such a position. What value can you provide them, which would be very little effort on their part, and effectively cost them no time and no money. It costs nothing to be a videographer. They already had their own club photographer, and that guy got paid as a professional. But what I provided was something for free. They didn't have to pay me. They didn't pay me. I did not work for the club. I just volunteered to give my time and some resources in order to access their space. It's also worth thinking, what kind of value can you give them that they cannot really turn down? No-brainers are very powerful. If it costs them nothing and no time, then it's perfect. Being up on stage every single week, especially for this long, as a regular as well, it means I didn't have to pay anything, I didn't have to wait in line, I also got free drinks. But most importantly, I would have pre-selection and social proof. These are very powerful social psychological concepts which add up to your dating life. And this helped me solidify a lot of dates and relationships over time. So instead of me being a regular person in the club with everyone else, I would stand out from the crowd by being right in front of them on the stage, dancing, standing there, or having conversations. They're more likely to remember someone in the spotlight than someone in the shadows.
Dude, you know RSD Max, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, I've found you on YouTube, man. I've seen
Shit.
No, I've seen this guy on YouTube. What track?
It's so